Just making another video of my Minecraft world in hardcore. Called it D. So I've made some progress from when I first started. I have done some clearing and used land segments, soil segments to start filling in some of the lake that was around where I dug in. The water started just before my cellar entrance here. I've also managed to track down some pigs, some cattle, and some sheep. There are chickens in the area, I just haven't lured them. I gotta get some more fencing up. I'm gonna lure some chickens just to hold them nearby so when I go to use them I'll have them handy. I did some monster kills and got some carrots and also a potato here, so I will have 3 types of food available. Cellar's coming along good. I've done quite a bit of clearing. 7 high with a roof, so it's 6 high, including to the roof. Set up a little processing area with my anvil and my cutting stone. Got down into the nether, found diamonds, made myself an altar. Also got a diamond pickaxe to gather up the obsidian. Created my paper mill, growing sugarcane underground. As I say, in hardcore mode, just about everything I do is underground until later in the game. I don't usually make it far enough to start building surface buildings, but one day maybe. I did get lucky though. I'm just gathering some paper because, bear with me a second here. I'm gonna walk my tunnel and gather paper. It hasn't completely grown in, but it's been a while since I checked it. I am in the process now of building the bookcases to take my enchanting table to max level, and then I will use whatever other diamonds I find to enhance. So I've got diamond armor is all I've got so far, and I haven't done any spells on anything yet. But I've created my chests. I'll probably expand it one more layer, cut this out, and make a 3rd row because I like to itemize stuff as thinly as possible. There's a few chests where I put multiple items just because I never get enough to require me to build a special chest just for it. But the main reason I'm building this video is because I created this tunnel. This is actually going to be where I create my underground village, what I call my research lab, because I'm really heavy on librarians when I do this. And what I do is I convert zombie villagers to villagers and take them over to my research lab. In this case, it's quite a long walk, so the villagers won't be able to find the beds I'm going to lay in there on their own. So I am building a rail system, and I'll have to use mine carts to transport them. But I came across a dungeon when I was exploring underground. Just above this is a drop zone. There is a zombie spawner dungeon just above me. You got to be within 16 paces of it to have it generate zombies. So I've created a drop zone, and I basically used a water trap. I cut 2 levels down from the zombie spawner in the room that the zombie spawner is in, and then lay in water. So the zombies actually generate into midair and fall down into the water, and then the water forces them to fall into my drop zone here. I've got a piston up there, which I use some redstone to take power up to a piston, and if I throw this lever down, it stops them from being able to drop. Oh, my sword is almost worn out. I don't have a diamond sword yet. Sometimes the small zombies still drop through, but the big zombies can't. I have to find a slime or get a sticky or a slime ball drop, and then I'll make a sticky piston and attach a block of wood to it, and that will seal off my drop, so I can actually shut the ability for zombies to fall down into this zone. And the reason I do that is because if a zombie villager falls, I need to be able to use my axe and isolate the zombie villager, and then I'll use the golden apple and splash potion of weakness to convert him. And in that time I will have to build some sort of mechanism here for when my rail system gets here, that he'll be able to walk out of here, but forced to get into a mining cart instead of just wandering around. Now there is still generating zombies up there, but like I say, I've got my piston closed now, so they can't actually fall down. That's why I control for when I go to convert a zombie villager. Since this is not a cell, I need to give it 5, sometimes more than 5 minutes, about 5 minutes at least of real lifetime in order for him to convert. So I don't want other creatures falling in there while that process is going on. Now underneath here, what I've basically got is just hoppers. Took me a second, I was going to say funnels, but I look at them as funnels, but really they're hoppers. And they're all just directed into one another until you get to my storage chest. Storage chest is in here. And what I will do is this storage chest is going to get converted to a dropper. And I'll create a circuit here so that anything that enters the dropper, it will automatically toss it down into a water trough here above other hoppers. And this whole area here is going to be getting redesigned. This is going to be a sorting chest zone. I will have, well, creatures actually drop quite a bit of different items, especially since above this zombie spawner I have also built a mob spawner. 3 layers of a typical water trough spawning zone, 8 by 8 with water trough coming from each direction, so 4 water troughs funneling to the center. They drop down into the zombie spawning room, and then the water in the zombie spawning room will also funnel them to this area here, the kill zone. So yeah, this here's all going to get cut away. I'll have multiple chests in a row, probably dual layer because you can only use a water trough to spawn or to go 8. So I'll have a row of 8 chests, and then it'll drop down 1 level, and I'll have another row of 8 chests, so up to 16 chests that I will be able to sort drops with. Since regular mobs, creepers and skeletons and witches will drop, there's a whole myriad of things that I'll be able to sort in the future. But yeah, that's where I've got my hardcore game so far. I don't know if I mentioned it in my first one, but I build my villages underground to make it easier for me to defeat a raiding party. The raiding party, of course, will be locked to the surface, because when the time comes I will have a steel door on my cellar entrance. I'll build a small little entryway, put a steel door on it. None of the raiding party will be able to get at the village, but they will be able to sense the bell though. So they will spawn within the range that's necessary of the bell. They'll have to work their way around my fencing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the village is going to end up somewhere just below this water area here. So that's well within bow range. I will be able to create a lookout tower or some sort of military structure here that's going to allow me to use my bow to defeat raiding parties, even in hardcore. Done it in the past. I got the buff for Hero of the Village. The last time I managed it, it was a pretty close call. The 7th wave is so powerful with the spells being cast and the specters, I think they're called specters, come flying at you, and you really have to be quick with that bow to defeat them things. You also have to kill the witches first, because the witches keep healing the, I don't know if it's the Vindicators that cast that spell. I'd have to get back on the wiki and look it up, but yeah, they keep casting that spell, and you got to get rid of the witches while you're taking damage. Then you got to be able to get rid of the Vindicators so you don't get that damn spell cast at you anymore, and then the rest of the mobs are quite easy by archery, especially if you have a flame enchantment on it. It does a lot more damage. But since I found that zombie spawner, it's going to be a lot easier this particular hardcore game. I'm already at level 40 and I don't even have my enchanting table built yet, and that's just because of defeating spawns. Oh, another thing about this world, I never tunnel straight down and do a ladder work. I do create stairwells to the bottom, and as I'm building my stairwell, I pass through a mine, so I've been filling in mine tunnels. And it's a multi-layer mine, of course, as they are nowadays. They're pretty complicated. There's also a huge underground crevice. This is just regular tunnel. Yeah, this is all mining tunneling that I've been filling in with cobblestone. as I go along, just so I can focus on where I've covered. Plus, by filling in these tunnels, it saves me on torches. I'll be able to recover my torches as I do that, and it helps focus creatures to start spawning in my mob spawner. Here's another layer of mine shaft, and I believe if I even go farther down, yeah, so another 30 squares, 20 squares. There's another. Now I filled these in temporarily. I will expose them later. This is also more mine shaft down there. I've been taking the wood and the fencing as I need it. And I've also started on creating some base level tunnels looking for diamonds. Tunnel straight shafts. And I'll be doing another straight shaft here, another straight shaft there, filling in the open areas. A whole series of straight shafts looking for diamonds. This one here is, I found a village on the surface, exploring surface. So this is actually going to be it's a wider one because I'm going to be putting a rail in here, a rail system along it. And that's as far as I made so far. From start, I am now at day 54 game time. So quite a few sleeps, but it's been going good. I'm really happy with the way this worked. The sugarcane was easy to find. So far everything's been fairly easy. Finding that zombie spawner was huge though, and it's going to save me a lot of time trying to regain levels especially when I get the mending spell from one of my librarians. I'll keep building librarians till I get the mending. When I get the mending, every piece of armor, every piece of tool that I use is going to get the mending, and if I have to, I'll just sit at that monster generation area for a day and repair all of my equipment before I start heading back out and continuing to expand my world. Anyway, that was update number 2.